Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. And a very good evening. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir, rabbi tamim bil khair, amma ba'd. Welcome back to our sharing session this evening. Today we will listen to sharing session about online learning. Don't be fooled. It's just a fool. It's just a tool.
A tool.
Sound offended. So maybe we can know more about this topic. So ladies and gentlemen, before we start our sharing session, I would like to introduce our speaker today. Our speaker today is Prof. Rozhan Muhammad Idrus. He is Professor of Open Distance Learning and Technology. Currently is a Research Fellow of USIM and as eLearning Chair of Open University Malaysia. So, Prof. Rozhan graduated from University of Salford, United Kingdom, and Bachelor in Pure Physics, University of Salford, United Kingdom. So, without further ado, I would like to call upon Prof. Rozhan to deliver his presentation. Please welcome.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya pun nak dulu sekarang ke? Kan nak cakap dulu?
Ya, boleh. Boleh. Okay. Boleh.
Okay. I think the PowerPoint is opening. Okay. Can you see the PowerPoint?
No.
All right.
Lampu ni, mak kena ribet kat depan.
Apa? PowerPoint can you see the PowerPoint now? The PowerPoint, I already uploaded the PowerPoint.
Prof share desktop ni. Prof share desktop ni.
Share desktop.
Prof cuba share PowerPoint balik semula.
Yang tanda
Okay.
share, Prof. Share.
Dah share lah tadi.
Share PowerPoint.
Oh, okay. Apa masalah ni pula? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, right. Alright.
Okay, Prof.
Okay, Prof.
Alright. Okay. Welcome everybody to this short discussion sharing session with me, on the topic of online learning. The title that I've given is "Don't be fooled. It's just a tool, not a tool, not a fool." Okay. All right. I'll just carry on talking. What the hell? Oh, okay. Okay. So just a little bit of background about myself. I have been in kind of the world of open distance learning from 1986. I'm not sure whether some of you actually born yet. 1986. It's a time when a long time ago when I was involved, because at that time there was no internet yet, no mobile devices. So we were leveraging on very basic technology, also technology like film slides, audio cassettes, video cassettes, and basically predominantly we have self-instructional text as the mainstay of the material given to the students, because our students in that time were also in remote areas where the only thing that could reach them is the text sent by post to them. Okay, we are in a predicament right now, and as the slide says, to cut a long story short, I'm not going to go through all the virus thingy, but in the wake of our health threat worldwide, we are now confined to our homes. Everybody, workers, lecturers, students, all people. Yeah, but life cannot stop. As lecturers and universities and even schools, the teaching and learning must go on. So we must find a way. Well, the people in ODL know the way, but the people in face-to-face will have to kind of adapt some way in these challenging times. In a nutshell, we are all caught. There was no notice given that a virus is going to come to attack you. So everybody was happy doing their own thing, lecturing, going to work, coming to work, go and drink coffee, tea, lunch, and come back. And then so there was no preparation window, whatever we are facing right now. So we are kind of thrown straight into the fray, as the expression says, touchdown running. We have no choice because as it stands now, face-to-face is, well, quote unquote, face-to-face in a fixed institution is no longer possible, because everybody is in their own home. Even the lecturers are in their own home. The students are in their own home, whether in the university or some of them have already gone home to the villages. Some of them, overseas students are stuck overseas. Since everybody is at home, there's not even any time to do training. If you have some issues in the university, you can still do very quick fix training in the institution. Now everybody's at home, so there's no time to do training because the students are scattered. And as they say, circumstances alter cases. So our solution is all now we go online. Online is not new. Everybody's been doing online. You do online shopping, you do online browsing, you look at videos, you look at football live, it's everything online and everything comes through the phone. So this is not new. In a sense, it's not new, but it's very new in terms of doing an actual teaching and learning process, unless someone has already been doing some kind of online teaching, not full-time online teaching, but bits and pieces of things that they transmit to their students in an online format, some notes, some links to a website. So entirely, it's not so strange, but to actually implement it full-fledged in terms of a full teaching, replacing the time that the students spend in the university is a different kettle of fish altogether. My next slide showed that in 2016, I wrote something in LinkedIn, my article, which was very well responded. The title was Open and Distance Learning Welcomes 21st Century. Yeah, everybody was talking about 21st. So in that writing, I said the world is now an open and distance learning landscape, and 4 years later, it has become a reality that we are now all thrown into the world of open and distance learning, leveraging on technology from our house, everybody sitting at home looking at their laptop with children running around at the back, blah, 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 kind of thing. Very interesting, actually. And then, of course, there's an article by Dr. Hafiz Sanif that came out in Berita Harian, and indeed given on the 20th of, in May, I did, yeah, highlighting the fact that students, lecturers should not, should not neglect. Sorry. Saya ada career consultant kat rumah ni, tanya dia boleh translate. Life consultant. Shouldn't neglect the students, which is true, but this is a point when the WHO said that COVID-19 has become pandemic, so now the whole world is kind of confined to their home. So from our standpoint, students should not be neglected. Okay, what I wrote in my just a quick recap, what I wrote in my article, I just to highlight the fact that synchronous and asynchronous actually exists in face-to-face. Okay, because there are times that you are with the students in the same place at the same time, and there are times that you are not with the student and you may be in a different place, different time. Like when you give them some assignment online, so when you give the assignment, when they actually do the assignment, when they actually submit the assignment, it's not synchronous. So the concept of synchronous and asynchronous exists even in face-to-face, although not in such a predominant capacity in open and distance learning. So basically what I wrote in my article, I just cut and paste rather than retyping. I said basically a distance learning system rests on 3 pillars of the teaching and learning: the delivery mechanism and the support system. So these are 3. Number 1, teacher and learner being separated in space and time during the main teaching activities, which is actually what we are facing now. The teacher and learner are already separated in time and space. They are somewhere else in a different time. You are somewhere else in a different time, and you still have to do the teaching. So that qualifies as the first pillar of distance, open and distance learning. The second pillar is the teaching and learning activities are conducted via educational media.
Alamak,
Which is apa dia? Hello? Okay, so the second pillar is also fulfilled now because the teaching and learning activities now has to be conducted through educational media because we are no longer face-to-face or in the same location as the learners. Number 3, there exists a proactive teaching and learning support mechanism that is provided by the institution or organization. Again, all 3 pillars of open and distance learning has been fulfilled even as we speak now, and we are not from ODL, we are from face-to-face teaching. So let's say, let me welcome you all again. Welcome to the world of open and distance learning. Okay, now you see in the newspaper, in WhatsApp, Facebook, all these people doing online training, offering services. This Dr. Faiz, the online lecture sambil jalan. Okay, right, fine. It's a poster in WhatsApp, and then Prof Karim has an article in the Straits Times switching to online learning. From UPM, the advertising, effective e-assessment, experiential e-learning, online learning designer, online webinar with Dr. Hafiz, Dr. Zahiruddin, e-assessment using Spectrum, Moodle quiz. And as we speak now, there's another forum happening at the same time, which is organized by Open Learning, webinar entitled Best Practices for Moving Your Teaching and Learning Online. Okay, so everybody's going online. Good, okay. Everybody okay? So, Dr. Elan. Why is the slide not moving?
Okay.
No. Okay. Right. But ODL has its own ecosystem. Yeah, but I'm not going to scrutinize ODL, open distance learning. That's going to be a huge lecture. But to adopt and adapt the practices in order to tweak our existing teaching and learning practices. Okay, we are already halfway there actually in terms of content and teaching, but we need to adopt and adapt to the nuances of open and distance learning. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, just make it turn in the right direction towards educating our learners that's scattered all over the country. Okay, we'll go through the motion. I'll just focus on one example. We are going to look at our current state and focus on the given. Yeah, we have internet, we have mobile devices, we have social media. So like it's like a leveling playing field for everybody. Everybody's assume have access to internet. We'll get to those who have no access to internet. You know, everybody have got mobile devices, maybe more than one, and everybody's on social media, whether you're a student or whether you're a lecturer. But first and foremost, you have to get out of the classroom. You have to get out of the classroom in your head. If your head is still in the classroom, you're going to have a problem. Okay, so I'll show you a picture, familiar picture, you know. So in this picture, you have to reboot your hard disk. This picture is no longer in your sight because it doesn't happen anymore. Okay, so this is even more shocking picture. You know, this is probably an overused picture of all students sitting in the classroom and everyone's got a laptop on their lap in the classroom. You know, a bit of a misnomer, but you know, this is a kind of well circulated picture from years. Okay, so now you got the picture of before, but now the time has come. The time has come when, you know, the laptop is taken everywhere, on mountaintop, in the village, used by old people, young people, adult, for anything. So this is the landscape that we have now, and I don't think it's gonna turn back so soon, even after we solve this current health problem. We're gonna kind of adopt this in a bigger way. Once you get to know it better, you see how well it works. Okay. Just kind of a quick recap. You probably have seen it before. The 21st century learner. Okay, 21st century learner, mobile learners. Okay, not learner. Even you also mobile. You also mobile. Mobile learners. They are always on the move. Okay, this is reality now. You know, whether you're talking about ODL or face-to-face, that doesn't matter. They are mobile learners. Now, content must come directly to the learner. That has also happened because content can now reach personally to a learner through the mobile devices, through LMS. So content must come. Even if the student, for some reason, could not come to class, he still can have some access to content. Okay. Now we are talking about personalized content and environment. Personalized content and environment. You know, we now have the capability of multimedia computing, of designing multiple formats, videos, audios, augmented reality, whatever, to suit the different types of learning events. I don't want to quarrel and say preferences, but the learning events. And then naturally the design must change. Because you cannot have a 1 hour lecture invading your mobile device. Okay, so now we hear the word regularly now called chunking. Macro, micro, bite size, nugget, same lah. You know, now the concept of chunking content such that it can reach learners who now have very short attention span. But makes you wonder how you deliver a 2-hour lecture then, if you say a student have very short attention span. Okay, chunking design for intent content for the learners. Okay, this should result in some kind of enrichment in their learning experience. Okay, so this chunk should result in an educational transaction that can take place anytime and anywhere, and it give the learners an enrichment in their learning experience. Okay, so it's a teaching chunk, not just any chunk, teaching and learning chunk, where there should be enrichment, and there also should be a process of enhanced knowledge retention in the teaching and learning process. Okay, so you must now be designing chunks and chunks of content that can facilitate teaching and learning enrichment, and also knowledge retention. In maybe 10 minutes, done. Then they go to another chunk of same process of some content, some enrichment of learning, and some knowledge retention. Okay, if I can summarize it in this picture, you can see in this picture. Can you see this picture?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, mobile on the move. Even now, you can see students walking by, reading, and kind of maybe some food in their hand and headphone in their ears, and they're doing three things at once. You know, mobile devices, content directly to learner. Yeah. So whatever I have just said is depicted in this very picture. Again, this has also come true. I've been talking about this for God knows how long. Maybe it's not well received, but now it has come true. We have absolutely no idea of this who, what, when, why, where, and how. Okay, who the students study with, who are their classmates? They are no longer in class. So Facebook friends are now their classmates or even friends from overseas. So what are they studying now? You are no longer there to give them the lecture. Maybe they're studying from PowerPoints that you post up online, something notes that you send to WhatsApp. They study maybe some OER content, some OCW content. And when they study, you have absolutely no idea. When you teach them, when they study, is different. You might send the notes in the morning, they might study in the evening, or they might study 2 days later. See, when they study, where they study, again, they're not in the university anymore, so you have no idea. And how they study? Are they studying alone? Are they studying in a group? Are they studying with a friend through video? So you have no idea of all this. The only thing that you can control is the content. This is the only thing that you can control. Even if you give the content, you have no idea when they were actually studied, where they were studied, how they were studied, how much they have learned. This is the big challenge. Even in face-to-face, you actually don't know so much about where they study, when they study. All you get is what you see in their grades at the end of the semester after you taught. You know, some got an A, B, a C, some might even fail. So I'm not going to go into that, but just a point to ponder. I'm showing you in the current scenario, a learning facilitation scenario where you have same place, same time. We were in the same place and same time. We were doing classroom teaching, face-to-face tutorial, workshops, seminars, full-time residents. You also can have same place, different time. You can also have different. You just refer to you refer to the chart that I sent you. We also have different place, same time, which are like audio conferences, two-way audio, telephone tutorial. They are same time but different place. Now you are in a bigger scenario, different time, different place. Different time, different place. So you talk about home study, computer conferencing, tutorial supported e-learning, fax communication, now use of social media, So you must be aware this is the scenario. Now the landscape has changed so much. You are now removed from your comfort zone. You are removed from the institution. You are removed from the university. Everybody is on their own. So the new learning landscape that we are looking now is social, connection, communication, collaboration, tribal. Tribal means students group together. They also have WhatsApp groups and Telegram groups. They have their own groups apart from everybody wearing black or green or blue and same hair, whatever. It's now the landscape is now personalized because people have personal technologies. They have personal mobile devices. They have personal iPads, personal computers. And the way the studying now has changed. It's gone into listening. It's gone into augmenting. It's gone into visual. It's gone mobile. It's gone to sharing. It's gone into tagging. And finally, it's now a ubiquitous learning landscape. You got a whole lot of challenge in front of you in this world now. You know, and everybody's looking at technology. Fine, technology is one part of it, but I will listen some more. Then you find out that it's just a tool that can make or break you. Okay, for some people it's already okay. For some people it's not okay yet. Tools, right? We're going to look at tools. There are so many tools. Don't worry about tools. Have no worry about tools. There are more tools than you know how to use. There are more tools than you can ever know. There are more tools that you can hope to be able to learn to use. There are communication tools, collaboration tools, problem solving tools, presentation, innovation, feedback tools, reflection tools, social networking tools. You name it. WordPress tools are ready for you. Are you ready to utilize the tools for your own solution? You know, tools are there. Don't worry about it. And there are many ways that technology can assist you. Okay, they can make learning tasks authentic, challenging, and multidisciplinary. Now you can always ask the author of the book that you are using to Skype with your students. Very authentic learning. Yeah, assessment, they are performance-based, generative, seamless, online, ongoing, done. Instructional models, they are interactive, generative, learning context, group strategies. You can have groups, softwares that can create group learning, group study, group projects, teacher roles as facilitators, co-learners, and students as explorers, cognitive apprentices, and also teachers. You can be a learner, you can be a teacher. The student can also be a learner and be a teacher because they have student-student interaction, peers, teaching and learning, and so forth. So we are now out of our comfort zone of the from entering the front door of the university. So you are now exposed to the whole gamut of what technology can do in the outside world. Okay, in this slide, I'm showing you all the advantages of educational technology. Do I have to read this?
In brief.
Huh? Do I have to read this? I mean, maybe you spend 2 minutes looking at it. I'll just go quickly. Educational technologies are advantages in providing safe, controlled environment that eliminates risk to patients, students. Like when you use animation or simulation to demonstrate dangerous experiments, very safe. No, you can explode all you want because it's in the computer. It's not your lab is not exploding. So it enhances realistic visualization. Some people need to see things move. It has fantastic visualization softwares that you can use. It has authentic context for learning assessment. It can be instructed tailored to individual needs or groups. Okay, the learner can control the learning experience. The whole experience can be repeated. The repetition, people study more than once. The same content can be repeated over and over again. It can be studied alone. It can be studied or discussed as a group. Maybe standardization of instruction and assessment as uniformity. Everybody gets the same thing. It's easier to control, easier to monitor, easier to change. And perpetual resources and new economies of scale. There's a plethora of content, millions, billions of the educational resources that you can find on the net. In fact, all you need to do is search and find things that's most relevant to you. So there's a lot of stuff that education technology can do for you, especially in these days and times. Now, I need to do this. I need to do this because I need to realign your perception. Because there is a reason to, this is a very, very old slide. Even the color scheme is kind of archaic. Never mind. This is a definition of technology that I found somewhere. I cannot find the reference again, but I still use it. I see if the owner can say who they are. Maybe the owner is already dead, I'm not sure. But the definition of technology is this. Technology is described as tools, processes, material resources, and creative human intelligence. You can have a tool, but if there's no process, no material, you have a computer, there's nothing in there, nothing happens. Even if there's something in the computer, some content, it still requires creative human intelligence to use the content. Use the content for what? Use the content to solve some problem. Okay, so in a nutshell, you use technology to solve a problem. Yeah? Anybody disagree with this? No, don't worry about it. Okay, so because when you want to solve a problem, you need a tool. If your car is needs fixing, you need a tool to repair the car. Okay, a picture of a tool. Anybody can tell me what this is? Looks like a. Looks like what? Anybody there? Siapa tu kan? Siapa there? Najib there? Okay, this is a tool. It's a knife. Okay, if you don't know, it's a knife. But what can the knife do? The knife cannot do anything. The knife will remain on the table and do nothing until someone picks it up and do something with it. You can either take this knife and slice an apple, cut a banana, or you can be like him.
Yes.
Well, sure, but you know, a person who knows how to use the tool well. So as a lecturer, you have to be able to use tools well to solve your problem. Okay, so basically you must know why exactly you use any single tool. Okay, but you want to reach somebody who is in a remote area, the basic tool might maybe give you just a message on the WhatsApp. They see if there's no internet or something. So there's a tool for everything. It just depends on what is it that you're trying to solve. What is it you're trying to do? What is it you're trying to, but in terms of teaching and learning, what is it perhaps you're trying to enhance? What is it you're trying to visualize? What is it they're trying to simulate? Stimulate. So it depends, and there are so many tools that can help you do that. You know, we have hologram, we have augmented reality. Now let's go into something more tangible, like something that we can actually something that we share now in this current scenario. Let's talk about your lecture. Okay, now you are no longer in a university where you no longer go to class with your notes and your pen drive, and there's no more students sitting in front of you waiting enthusiastically for you to lecture them for 1 or 2 hours. Crazy, 1 or 2 hours, long time. But we always say students have very short attention span. It's just a bit of a dichotomy here. But never mind, we won't go to that. Now, if you have to deliver your lecture now, anybody want to answer me who has done this online lecture and how you actually did it? What do you have to do? You just kind of
record video.
What? Sorry, this is a lecture or siapa tu? Okay, no, it's okay, fine, no problem. Let's go through this. Now you are in your own home and you have to deliver a lecture. Is it going to be an online lecture? Which means to say that you have scheduled that from 9 to 10 there will be your online lecture. So what is going to happen? That you are going to be in front of your laptop talking to your class and all the students are present online. Is this a scenario? What do you think? Is this anyone want to make some comments? Any students want to make some comments?
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Okay, I'd like to make some comments, Prof, to share my experience.
Siapa ni?
Okay, I'm Adli.
Okay.
All right. So what I have done is actually I do it online. So I wait all the students to be present, and then we deliver the lecture. And afterward, we can get some what you call interaction between between me and my students, so that we would like to know whether they understand what we have delivered during the online. But this is my how I have done it before.
Okay.
All right. So that's just.
Okay. Okay. You've done it before in the face-to-face situation.
No, no, I've done it in the online environment.
I don't know. Your online environment, but the scenario now, we no longer meet at all. I mean, if you are in before we come to the university, you may deliver 1 or 2 lectures online, but eventually you will still meet with them. Now there's no meeting for the next two weeks, 1 month. I don't know how long this is going to be, this confinement. So so it's totally online. There's no chance of meeting face to face in the institution. Okay, never mind. Just throw the idea. So, which means to say we already put back in an online environment. You have already put back the constraints that all students must be in the same place at the same time, and they are not in the same place at the same time because they are in their villages, and they might not have the same environment, the same technological support. Some of them might not have internet. Some of them might have not much data in their devices. Some of them, so it's very different from when you are in a university. Everything is the same. You are in the same place, same time, same location, same classroom, same infrastructure. Now it's already out in the open. So how do you ensure everybody can go online for that synchronous?
Well, my situation is a bit different because my students are all master students. So basically, they have these facilities. They have the online facilities, and then the numbers is also not that big. So it's a bit easier to do for the masters class.
Masters and PhD are ODL. Masters and PhD are automatically ODL. They don't have to come to class. They study on their own. They find you when they need you. They disappear when they don't need you. You chase them. Postgraduate is a different kettle of fish altogether. Postgraduate is different. We're talking about this undergrad face-to-face teaching. Okay, never mind. It's okay. Never mind. Maybe we let somebody. Okay, so now let's assume an undergrad course. That is the semester is on, that you have to do your teaching. You are used to going to class to give a lecture. Now they're not. So how do you solve this? Anyone who is undergrad, or there's a student who wants to make some comments. What has changed in terms of your lecture that has taken place because of this confinement?
Okay, Prof.
I'm
Abdurrahman from Genius Insan. I want to share one thing, Ken?
Okay, Ken. One only,
Okay. Actually, I want to share about our style in teaching. Actually, from last week, we start online learning. Really, if I want to say about online learning as a lecture, really is very boring. As Abdurrahman, I just teach my student 10 minutes only. Yes.
Okay.
The class is 1 hour, but I'm with them 10 minutes only with one slide only, and then student should do something. I give the name as like active-based learning. Student should do something. In my 10 minutes, really, just I give them the joke what I do in class usually. Just I joke with them. And then they do. When I check about the outcome, it's very interesting. My class, from 53 students, 51 record their attendance. They already in the class. Yes, because really, Prof, if usually class, if I want to give lecture, it is will be boring online.
Okay. No. What I'm trying to say is, the point here is that it has changed the way you do things. It has changed the way you do things because going online is very different from doing in a full classroom lecture. So, in the slide you can see how do you tweak this. You can go online, you can go offline, you can go flip. Flip means you send some content to them earlier. When you come to class, it's just a discussion or a case study, or you go through a work examples, or you highlight what needs to be highlighted from the some content they sent, or if they have any problem. So then it will not be boring because you are not actually lecturing, you are actually discussing teaching content. Okay, so and it can also be a blend where you can also include other media such as a video, such as a demonstration, and you can also send it to WhatsApp. You can also Rahman, what you have said just now, you're actually already chunking it. You're already chunking into 10-minute session. You can start dividing your lectures into 10 minutes or maybe 5-6 minutes chunks. You know, you get chunks. Every chunk there's some learning going on. There's some knowledge retention. That's enough for them. Keep them exciting. They're going to wait for your next chunk and next chunk. Just keep it interesting because this is really a different environment altogether. If you give a 1-hour lecture, I think you start with 51. At the end, only 20 will be there. They will already run away from you. Correct or not?
Correct.
Okay. So now, basically, my point to impress upon you is the fact that the way that we do things now is no longer or can no longer be the same, because it's not logical to give a 1 or 2 hours online lecture. Even you cannot sit for 1 hour to go through any kind of online video, and you will see educational videos are produced now 5 minutes. At most 10 minutes. Even if 20 minutes video, people will think twice to sit for 20 minutes because something will happen in 20 minutes that it might make you cut short your time and you have no time to repeat. So it's a waste of time. So you say 20 minutes, now I won't do it. 5 minutes, okay, no problem. 5 minutes, you won't have time in the car while waiting for your children to come from school. You know, so the way things are now, how you now retweak your content is different. So I'm going to take why you mute me? Why that? Somebody muted me. Why I'm being muted? Just water. Huh? Thirsty. I know. Okay. Now, like I said, let's not reinvent the wheel. You have your lecture. In your lecture, when you come to class, you just, what do I say? You just lecture. From your notes, you come to class, you just blah, 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 talk. You know, sometimes you don't even tell the student why you're teaching it, what they're supposed to learn. You just lecture. After 1 hour or 20 minutes, you give them some, ask them whether they understand any question, no question, bye-bye. Okay, in open and distance learning or online learning, it is very highly structured because 1 hour or 15 or 20 minutes that you spend online is a very precious 15, half an hour or 1 hour. Okay, you have no time to create unnecessary. Yeah, you can create some unnecessary jokes on and on. But the delivery of your content must be very structured. I will swear on Ganye, this is the best learning events I have ever seen. Any other learning events that come afterwards, if you track back, you will get back to Ganye. It's just kind of a modification. So if you can take your notes, if you can take your lecture notes and you put that in some order as stated here, I think your notes are all there. They're probably jumbled up. It doesn't follow any kind of sequence. You know, you even in class, you kind of respond spontaneously to questions, or you can detect some body language, some student showing a face of not understanding. So you know, sometimes what you intend to deliver that day only delivered 3/4 or whatever. You know, sometimes there's a holiday, sometimes there's a break, and sometimes you go to conferences. So these kind of things change the way you kind of proceed with the teaching. But in ODL, because it's very structured, whatever happens, the structure is always there, the content is always there to be studied almost anytime and anywhere. So if you can, and bear with me, and let's say consider your lecture and put it in some kind of structure that I have already shown you on this slide. Number one is to motivate the learner. Did you motivate the learner when you went to class? Okay, so number two is to inform learner of objectives. Maybe you do that, but to motivate afterwards, the subsequent slides will show you how to actually do that. How to motivate the learner, inform them of objectives, direct attention, stimulate recall of prerequisite material. Number 5 is provide provide guidance for learning. Number 6 is enhance retention. Number 7 is elicit performance. Number 8 is assess performance and provide feedback. Number 9 is promote transfer of learning. If you take your notes, try to fit the content of your notes in any of this. Where does your note fit in motivating the learner? Where does your note fit in directing attention to the content that you're going to teach? Where in your notes are you stimulating recall of prerequisite material? Or, you know, what was learned last week or whatever the case may be. What learning guidance do you provide in the notes? What enhanced retention of knowledge was there in your notes? How did you elicit the performance of the lecture that you're going to teach for that 1 hour? You know, how do you assess performance? Do you do a quiz or do you do anything? And how do you end by promoting some kind of transfer of learning in that 1 hour lecture? Ken? Okay, you get my drift. So if you put it in this fashion, you can see what's missing from the structure of your notes. It's all there. I'm not saying your notes is not good. You have your notes, but apa jadi?
Share.
Apa jadi?
Share
Kenapa
for
dia lari? Okay, kenapa dia lari? Okay, it's okay, don't worry. Do you get my drift? Yeah, put it back in order. So then you can see where you are missing. Where if you did not have anything in your lecture that motivate the learner, put something in to motivate the learner. Because you have to remember, if you produce something like a self-instructional text, even if you send notes to the students, it should follow some structure. You just don't send notes of content. It's just like reading a book, which they won't understand anyway. Okay, so the writing or the way you communicate with them should now be what we term as didactic. Writing that can teach, a conversation that can teach, like when they read or when they listen to you, is just like you talking to them. Which is very different from a textbook. Textbook talks to itself and then you read so you can understand. But the teaching content must be able to communicate with students in writing. Like I mentioned in my comment in the Facebook, like you take a book have so many genres like horror, love story, espionage, thriller. Book can make you cry, book can make you scared, a book can make you revolt. So this is just in writing before it gets transferred to movie, of course. So the same thing here, your notes should be able to convey and teach the student. It should talk to the student. So if you follow this guideline and tweak your lecture, you're going to have a very, very good structure, and you can it's very dynamic, and you can include missing parts later on. You can even include extra examples, extra exercises, extra questions. When you see it in order, you see the flow, then you can know what else that is needed to enhance the lecture. Okay. Okay. put together, but for you to come on, what's the slide moving? Somebody keep muting me. Okay, where is the slide moving? Eh? That slide tak move. Minute. Okay.
Next.
Okay. Maybe I have to control on the mouse. Okay. If you look at this slide, this is tweaking your lecture. I have broken up into different parts. Number 1 are the 9 events of instruction that you see, number 1 to 9. Number 2 is the internal mental processes. What does motivating the take a picture of this, you can actually try to fit your content.
Sorry Prof, suara tak dengar.
Somebody keep on muting me. I don't know why. Okay, sorry. I'll keep vigilant on the mic. Just know the mic di pangkah. Okay. You are looking at the slide. Yeah, you can look at the slide. In the types column, it gives you some examples of how to actually implement the first 3 parts, which is the motivate the learner, inform learner of objectives, and direct attention. In terms of you have a content list. You have a statement of objectives, you have a list of new concepts, you have a concept map, diagrams, or study guide, you have a introduction, summary, overview, pre-assessment, pre-test, self-assessment, pre-test, key core questions, okay? So this all can be included. Even if it doesn't exist in your lecture yet, you can now include in your lecture all these kind of things because it relates to the topic that you are trying to teach. The second part would be the number 4 to number 7. Okay, this is more like the content organizer where you have introduction. After I will show you a chunk. And you will see what I mean by a chunk. And if you go chunk by chunk, you are really putting a very strong structure into your content. Okay, introduction, links to other lesson, headings, section, subsection, numbering system, commentary with content interspersed with self-assessment, guided reading, verbal, visual signposting, summaries. This is for the content part. For the retrospective organizer, the assessment, performance, and promote transfer part, you can have items like concluding remarks, cross-references, glossary, checklist of new concepts, references, review questions, short questions, work examples. So again, if you kind of retweak your content and if you follow all these suggestions, you may have your own because different subjects may have different way of actually doing your pre-instructional material. Different subjects may have their own different retrospective organizer. Go ahead. This is very dynamic for you to actually use. And what possible forms can you have in terms of all this? You know, people use now this is a pre-multimedia punya time, because I have here audio cassettes, video cassettes, CAI, compact disc, web-based. Now you have all those cartoons, your avatars. Go ahead. Now you can even record yourself on your iPhone and saying hello to them or saying something to them. Okay. So all these things can be done. Depends how creative you are and can be. You know, this is then Rahman. Your lecture will not be boring. Your lecture will never be boring anymore. I assure you. If you follow this guideline, you will be enhancing your lecture with more exciting content, stuff, links to videos, and some things. You can even do a video-based questionnaire and questions, and it be so interesting. Okay, so in effect, sorry,
Prof, the previous slide. Do you think you could make it clearer for us to see?
Which one?
The previous one.
The previous going forward and forward. The previous one. This one?
No. Yes, this one.
Is it too small?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. I'm not sure whether I can make it any bigger. Is this bigger? Is it okay or not?
Can I suggest? I think they can pinch on the mouse pad and can zoom in.
Right.
Everybody can zoom in yourself.
Yeah. Correct.
All right.
No. Okay.
Thanks.
No, as long as you're aware of this, you can later go back and look at your content. You can kind of tweak it and realign your content. And these are just suggestions. You may have your own ideas on how to actually manifest all these items that I write to you, how to motivate the learner, how to direct attention. Maybe you put on a short video, how to direct attention and something interesting about the topic that you're trying to teach. This is up to you. This is just suggestions on how to actually make the content come alive through these 9 events of instruction and the types of activities that you can do and the possible forms that it can take for you to actually run your course, run your lecture. You know, so it doesn't have to be boring anymore. Okay. Next slide. So here is just a kind of a summary that these 3 parts run across all the topics. It's interwoven. You can see how I draw it, because each topic should be in a continuity. Okay, sometimes the first topic ends abruptly and student are kind of like, what happened? It should be like an airplane landing from the first topic going to the second topic, third topic. So there should be an end to the first topic and a beginning of the second topic that relates to the first topic. So this is how I draw it. This is interwoven. This shows a basic structure. This, you can call it as a chunk. If you can also break your content into chunks, a chunk can have one objective, some directions, some information, some content, some and a feedback and a summary. This is one chunk. Done. Okay, so in 10 minutes or 20 minutes, this chunk can be done. You know, you have some objective, direction, some information, some practice, some comment, some feedback, and a summary. So in 20 minutes, they have retained some knowledge, some idea, and then you continue with your next chunk. This is a very basic chunk. You can have a more complicated looking chunk. Depends on your subject. You can have in your chunk an introduction, instruction, examples with solution. You can have now try these practice exercises. You can have case studies. You can have anything you want in your chunk. Like, I mean, a physics chunk will look very different from an economics chunk, but you just chunk it so that it comes in small sizes. Easy to send through social media, easy to send through the iPhone, and in a lecture, it ties up as a continuous content. And even if you write a book, you can base on the chunk and fill in the blanks, and it becomes a book. You know, you don't want to miss what you say in your lecture, put it back in the book, so the book becomes like a teaching, like a teacher in print kind of concept. So if you can entertain yourself and chunk your content, I assure you, you can see what's missing from your chunk, and you can kind of make it more exciting by including what needs to be done in your chunk. You know your subject better, so you know how else to make it interesting. And at the end, you have your self-test, solution to self-test, direction to the assignment. Solution to self-test, I would encourage, because sometimes we always complain. Students don't know how to answer the question. And even sometimes in exam board, you report, students did not answer the question well. Do they know what an A question looks like, or a B question looks like, or an A answer looks like, or a B answer looks like, or a C answer? What's a fail answer? So if you can give them some ideas or some, you know, what is required to get an A or B, so this is all very helpful. This can all be included in your chunk. Okay. So your job now is to promote
Prof, muted.
Okay, sorry. I mean, okay, in a way, the slide speaks for itself. Okay, this is our job now, trying to make, look at your content. Look at your content, okay? Your content is supposed to inspire, so excite the learners, engage the learners, captivate the learners. So pictures can convey a lot of messages. Okay, use it. If you have a trouble, try to Google and see images that inspire, captivate, motivate. I teach physics. In physics, it's very easy to find a simulation of a pendulum where you can change the length, you can change the angle, and you can see how the wave appear on the oscilloscope. You know, so it becomes very engaging. Student change angle, student change length, student change the weight of the ball bearing, and see what happens on the swing, see what happens on the oscilloscope. So this is kind of very engaging, although it's very simple pendulum and a very simple animation, but it keeps them occupied. Even I spend some time changing all those things. Okay. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is a picture of in the beginnings of, even until now in distance learning, the printed text is the only guarantee that everyone can have the content. Okay, it's the only guarantee that anyone can have content. Any kind of transmission can have some issues. Sometimes you keep your content in a CD. Sometimes you put your content in your pen drive. Sometimes even in your computer. If your pen drive becomes corrupted, there goes your content. Even after a long time, your CD becomes corrupted, there goes your content. But unless you lose your text, it's always there for you. Okay. So, any questions so far? Lupa aku soal. It's okay. Okay. Anyone? No question? No question, never mind. I continue a bit more. This is, again, so you're probably wondering, where's technology? Technology later. Yeah, like I said, it's just a tool. We can look at the tools later. Now, what is more important, and not so much as the tools. Now, what is important, even if you want to do.
So I have a question. What is the difference between technogogy and cybergogy?
What? Cyber?
Cybergogy.
Cybergogy. Maybe cybergogy use of cyber space kot. Now there's so many goji already. They have pedagogy, peeragogy, iPad goji. I don't know, but you know, if you look at the term goji, it's like just the art. That's why no, it's not the art. It's like you say you have pedagogy, you have andragogy, you have hotogogy, you have ubuntu goji, you have all those kind of things. So this is not based on equipment. So if you say cybergogy, I'm not sure. Maybe the use of cyberspace in terms of the teaching, use of cloud maybe. Okay, because now people go into cloud computing, so that to me that will qualify as cybergogy. But again, that's not so much. That's just a storage. Because when you talk about goji, it has to do with the art of teaching. Andragogy is the art of teaching adults. Pedagogy is general art of teaching. Okay, and hotogogy is teaching of self-directedness. So it has to be some kind of element. So if you cybergogy, it's just like cloud computing. It's just there's no element of teaching and learning. It's just where you put content in the cloud. I don't know. I could be wrong, but you know. Okay. So now I want to introduce to you to technogogy. Since technogogy exists behind my name, this is already very quick one. Cannot spend too long. Go on, 1 hour already. How much time do I have? How?
1 hour and a half.
1 hour and a half. Okay lah. Never mind. The rest are a lot of kind of pictures, but never mind. So technogogy is something that I introduced 15 years ago. It is actually yesterday, if you heard somebody lecturing on TPCK, I also leverage on TPCK. Anybody familiar with TPCK? Okay, TPCK is this, introduced by Kohler and Mishra in 2006. That's fine, there's nothing wrong with this. TPCK only says there is a logical relationship between the three components of technology, pedagogy, and content. That's all. It is a two-dimensional Venn diagram. Okay, and they go further to say that true technology integration is understanding and negotiating the relationship between these three components of knowledge. Okay, I took this one step further by embedding the learner in the whole concept. Okay, so what I did was I drew an axis of content, technology, and pedagogy. What you will get at the end of the day is something that looks like this. Okay, these three axes of technology, pedagogy, and content, and the center part here are the learners. But this, in the early stages of the definition, confused people. So I took this out and actually drew the learner line. So if you can envisage this to be the learner line, any kind of learner that you want to put here, collaborative learner, independent learner, visually impaired learner, hearing impaired learner, whatever. So if you slide these three components on the learner, so when you touch on any kind of learner, you have to take into account what content, the content to teach to the learner, how to teach that content to the learner, okay, and the technology that you can use to assist you to teach that content to the learner. So this is a 4-dimension which should not be separated of the content, learner, pedagogy, and technology. Again, if you look at your notes, you try to fill in the blanks here. You may have content. You know your content, that's for sure. But I assure you, you cannot put in the learner because you did not identify the learner. Identify the learner means you have to know the characteristics of the learner. Then you decide how to teach that content to the learner. And finally, the kind of technology that can assist you to teach that content to the learner. So if you look at these 4 parts, it will force you to actually now look at the 40 pairs of eyes looking at you in your class and not consider them as just one student. They may have their own preferences. They may have their own way of studying. They don't like too much text. They like action. They like video. They like kinesthetic. So you may have to prepare some content that has all those elements. Otherwise, you come in blah 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 1 hour. They can just be switched off, and after 1 hour, go out and probably know nothing. So I have actually, in this content framework, I've actually married M-A-R-R-Y, the technology and the events of instruction. Here you can see the 9 events of instruction. Here are 9 events of instruction. Here learner, here content, here the pedagogy, and maybe this should be the other way around. And this is the technology. So again, this is a very dynamic framework that you can actually utilize. If you look at the learner and the content, how are you going to motivate this learner based on the content? Okay, objective is very straightforward. How are you going to direct attention of the content to this learner? Okay, so you can put in the activities here, or the pedagogy or the technology. You can put in the maybe some web-based link here, or some video that student can actually go and see. So all this, if you again relate back to your content, you can create a very dynamic content design that is expandable. Later on, you can add on for your e-learning or m-learning. You can on anything that you like, and anyone also in the same subject can actually use this. Okay, this is going another step further of actually tagging your content, because sometimes content are very difficult to search and you never tag your content. It's just like putting keywords in your papers. People search for keywords, they will find your paper. If you produce some kind of content, if you don't put keywords or you don't kind of tag it, it's very difficult to search. If you utilize a certain, if you type in problem-based learning, maybe in physics or chemistry, you not chemistry, something, you find out keywords on base, on problem, but PBL will not come out, but you did not tag PBL. So if you go through the motion of, again, your content and look at the learner, you can tag your learner. You identify the levels of your learner, whether they are audio learners, whether they are first-year learners, second-year learners, doesn't matter. As long as you actually quantify the learners. Contents very straightforward, the discipline, the topic, the subject, very straightforward. The pedagogy, you can tag the pedagogy, whether it's peer teaching, case studies, discovery learning, active learning, PBL, what. Technology, video, augmented reality, audio, podcast. If you tag it, it's easier to find. And if you go one level further by putting in the language, if it gets translated or subtitled, you can add the language. Just like the movie that you see on the plane. The movie might be in English, or you like to watch Japanese movie, but there's English subtitle there, so that's fine. Or Hindi movie with English subtitle or whatever. So this will become like a searchable repository, because people will search for your content and they will find it if you tag it well in terms of the learner, in terms of the content, in terms of the pedagogy, and also the technology. Okay, so you probably have heard of this expression, the buffet approach. I like to use food as my metaphor. Buffet. So now we must look at many ways to design one content. I mean, this ODL is not helping us. There are so many ways to design one content. You have lectures, fine. That's all you have. I'm not generalizing, but you have lectures. But you can also design your content into small group study sessions, problem-solving session, individual and group projects. You can even do poster assignment, presentation. You can also do ask them to do videos or discovery. So the same content can be designed in so many different ways. This is the way to go, actually. So like again, I say, your content will never be boring, because you have given life to the content, because it can manifest itself in many ways. I have not even included animation and simulation of the content. Okay, So this is just an idea to give you. This is a very old slide which gives you 50 different ways to teach in class with zero technology. Okay, zero technology. You can have pop quiz, you can have brainstorming, you can have a buzz group, you can have conduct a survey, a debate, a field trip, group activity. You can keep a journal, you can do games, you can do maps, models. Then you can do even puzzles. Then you go a step further by using technology. Now you have a puzzle generator. You can just go on the internet, you Google free puzzle generator, the website will come out. All you need to do is put in the answers for the vertical column and the horizontal column, and the computer will generate the crossword for you. All you do next is ask the question in in sequence of how the puzzle has been constructed for you. Very easy. Okay, now everything, all of this can now exist in a digital or online software format. But my point is, you are the creative ones who actually design the teaching and learning activity. Utilizing technology as it comes is not a problem. This is what I'm trying. The crossword puzzle. Okay, so you just have to Google. Well, this is on. You just can have an empty puzzle. You all they need for you to printable worksheets. All you need to do is to fill in the blanks of the vertical column, and the computer will generate for you this puzzle. Okay, you can try. Timelines. This is where the technology comes in to help you. So again, it's just a tool to assist you to do all the exciting things that you can do with your content. But you must have your content. You must know what to do. Okay, I want to do a puzzle. Actually, I do puzzles. I actually did a first term exam on my physics student. It was a crossword puzzle. Okay, gave them a shock of their life. And also subsequently, I also asked them to create a crossword puzzle based on the first 4 lectures. They create the crossword puzzle. So they have to actually go through the notes and find and create the crossword puzzle. So they create the question, they create the answers, and they actually use this software to submit their version of. So that's really a learning experience in itself, but in terms of a crossword puzzle. You can ask the student to use timeline. Timelines very interesting because it can embed audio, video, activities, and it becomes a very good teaching tool, and also very good concept to go through your lessons. You know when and what was taught, when and what was achieved and done. Okay. This is interesting. Teaching. This is just to give you some ideas how technology can assist you. Like I said, it's a tool that you can use. Teaching with movies. Okay. You can Google this. These sites gives you a whole lot of movies, including 300 and maybe more now. Free lesson plans based on feature films and movies. What kind of movies do you want? All sorts of movies. Social movies, science movies. Just use it. Might give you an idea because I actually taught physics. I teach physics. I've actually taught first year electricity magnetism. I asked them to watch Spider-Man. Spider-Man, you know that guy who fell into the water tank and was got electrical powers. So I asked them. I found about four snippets of the movie, and I asked them to analyze from the standpoint of electricity magnetism whether it's true or not. Sometimes movie can sensationalize concepts. It might be true, it might not be true. So you can use movies in terms of teaching, and then we have a discussion in class to prove whether what was shown was. Nowadays, students are very visual. You have to use infographics. Infographics, very easy to put things together, summarize content, and you can even use infographic backbone as your teaching element. You know, so your notes or text or your lecture, and to send infographics is easier than to send a whole chunk of content that's full of text and text. Okay, all right. Virtual tours. Virtual tours is not so difficult to do actually, because for subjects that lend itself very well to virtual tours, like geography, like history, and if you lecturer, if you go on a conference, use your iPhone to take pictures. You can even create movies. You can even create a virtual tour of the subject, which makes it interesting to enhance the content. Okay, so you even now you can, if you go if you go to London, if you look up, you don't see the plane, you see cameras on lampposts. You see, they are, and you can even see Google cars, Google vans moving all over the place to capture all this location, all these maps, and virtual tour can be one concept that you can actually use to maybe not virtual tour, but what comes to mind is you know, you used to go on a aeroplane, and there's somebody will explain to you the safety features in the plane, which you never pay attention because you cannot see what the guy is doing. The guy is in front and showing you how to put on the life jacket and showing you how to put on the seatbelt, you know. So now they don't do that anymore. They just show a video screen that appears right in front of your face on every seat, so everybody can see the same thing. Okay, so that's the use of video. App-based learning. There are so many apps that can be used now that comes through your mobile devices in terms of teaching and learning. Chemistry apps, simulation of economics apps, any apps that if you buy, use, or you can create your own apps based on your content. Okay, so this is, although this is predominantly something that we people in ODL think because the students are on their own, this can also be very, very useful in face-to-face teaching, because it excites the student, because they get to see the stuff in action. You can actually ask the students to do this. Game-based learning. Game-based learning is also something that can be ventured into the use of technology to assist your teaching. Yeah. What else? Video. I already said video. Video works. Video works because it has all the elements of sound, motion, animation, action, and even exercise. You can even do a video quiz. You can even teach based on the video. You can stop, chunk the video and teach. It's no problem. You know, use an existing video. You don't have to make a video yourself, but make sure you don't plagiarize. You give credit to the person who created the video. Now we have open courseware. We have OERs, millions of OERs that you can use to assist you to teach, or find short OERs that student can watch on their own to enhance some knowledge, to see some examples. There are so many sites like Academic Earth. You have YouTube Edu, you have SlideShare, you have Khan Academy. All these things are meant to be there for are there for you to utilize. But the point here is you are the one who decide, because you know the content. Like the person holding the knife, you decide what to do with the knife. You decide what to do with the technology in front of you, the resources in front of you. Okay. especially now in this time that where you are apart from the student, you can leverage so much on all this to make the student learning experience probably even more exciting than they were in campus. Let me introduce you to LAMS. Have you heard of LAMS? Not the lambs in the field, but LAMS, LAMS. Have you heard of LAMS? LAMS is a learning activity management system. LAMS appeared a long time ago, but I'm not sure why it didn't catch on. I like LAMS very much because it is a very highly instructional design management system. What is LAMS? I expanded this. LAMS is a revolutionary new tool. It's not new, but they say new. It's okay. This website I just downloaded last night. For designing, managing, and delivering online collaborative learning activities. It provides teachers with a highly intuitive visual authoring environment for creating sequence of learning activities. LAMS is free as open source software. I'll show you a bit of LAMS. Then I urge you to explore LAMS because it can solve a lot of your problems. LAMS can be simple and can be as complicated as your brain makes it complicated. Okay. This is the same as what you see now. Okay. In LAMS, the benefits and features, content can be customized, easily adaptable, promote creativity of subject matter experts, promote cognitive skills of learners, runtime environment for learners. Runtime means you can put a gate, you can put a stopwatch, engage all learners, you can monitoring tools for teachers. I urge you to explore. They have many tools. They have chat tools, Blink Blue Button tools, Google Maps, forum data collection tool, assessment tool. This is some. They have a mind map tool, they have a notebook tool, they have multiple choice tool, and also an image gallery. They have a notice board, image editor, scribe, share resources, and spreadsheet. More. This is, like I said, some time ago. You can take a look at it. It has a. I'll show you some design concept. Submit files, survey, task list, video recorder, wikis, voting. Okay, it has gates. You can put a gate, until and unless everybody comes to has completed the task, the gate will not open for you to do the next task. You can group them, you can branch them into separate. Example, these are all the activity toolkit here, which you can use. You can have like a notice board that goes to a chat, it goes to share resources, a multiple choice question and answer, and a forum and a survey. So this is one design. And you have to do the design. Based on your content, you know what to design. You know what to put on a notice board, what to chat, what to resolve. You create the multiple choice, question and answer, and after that you do a forum and you discuss. You can also have ask the teachers, this is another design. Again, you have to do the design. You can break them up into 3 groups. Okay, then come back to the notice board and then discussion forum. How you can make it to be very easy, you can make it to be very complex. It can be a simple chunk, it can be a very complicated chunk. You can do, you can stop here, you can stop them, you can branch them, you can have a multiple choice, submit, Word doc, and all the lessons you can embed in here. It's up to you. How you design this content is up to you. We can see how enthusiastic or how complicated, how ambitious this person has designed his lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, lecture 4, branching, assessment, pronunciation link. So this is like a learning German language design. Okay, this is okay. I think you get the message. You can do any available. Okay. So in the end, the role here again, the role here is changed very much. Has changed very much because there's so much that can be done in terms of designing the digital learning environment with all the tools available to you. So not just a straightforward classroom lecture. It's now very engaging, multimedia, utilizing all resources available, all tools available, all software available to make your lecture absolutely interesting. Okay, you must design in multiple perspective.
Prof,
Yeah.
Ada sebahagian audience beritahu ke Prof punya screen dah gelap.
Gelap. Saya nampak okey?
Sebentar.
I can see my screen. Okay, how did it go gelap?
Okay, cuba Prof full balik.
Okay. Okay, slideshow. Okay. Okay tak?
Tak nampak, Bro.
Siapa nampak? I don't know what else to do. Dah full screen balik dah. And then it's still running actually. It's still presenting.
Sebab dekat sini kita orang dah tengok end of slide dah.
End of slide apa?
Dah hitam, tak ada apa-apa.
Oh, okay. I go previous.
Yes.
Ya, sini ada.
Belum lagi.
Tak ada juga.
Dr. Najib nampak slide ke?
Nampak end of slide.
End of slide. I'm not at the end yet. I'm not at the end. I'm still in the slide. It's still presenting. It's not.
Last slide, Prof.
Yeah. Last slide is this one. This is last slide. Nampak tak?
Tak nampak.
Tak nampak ya. Okay, I'll just read the last slide. This is the last slide. The last slide is to summarize that now our role now in view of all this deluge of technology and lecturing and teaching and learning and the students and this current scenario, we now have to design in multiple perspective. Yeah, personalization according to the learner preferences. Create a mobile applications, be more student centered in terms of to get to know student more. So bottom line is really not about the technology per se. Technology is always there to assist you. So don't look for technology. You look for technology to do what you want to do. Well, only you know what to do. How to teach, what to excite, what to enhance, what to motivate, what to captivate, what to excite the student, only you know. Then you look for the tools. The tools are always there. You can always, somebody can always advise you on what tools, or people can share to you what they have done. And be creative. Because I think this is kind of a, if I can say, blessing in disguise, that we have time to explore actually. I know you work from home. I'm not saying you're sleeping at home, but you have time to actually relook at your content and time to enrich it based on some formats, some use of rich media, utilize the softwares available to make digital form of so many events. Like people use Kahoot, people use Padlet, that kind of thing. So it's up to you to kind of design based on the framework I've given you. So it is a very dynamic design that is expandable, scalable, and you can change it anytime you want, because there will be new softwares coming, old softwares. Old is still okay. New is for you to explore. Work as a group, maybe to develop some content, showcase some kind of online learning innovation that you have done, share with people. Some people can learn from you, and it's a very very enriched academic endeavor in terms of content development, use of technology, use of tools, and to enhance the teaching learning process. Okay, that's it, I think. The slide I can bagi later. I think Saiful, you have my slide. I already sent it to you. If you can share it somehow, I have no problem with that. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about it. Probably just the last few slides. I'm not sure why, because like for my laptop, it's still presenting. I haven't stopped presenting. I'm still on full screen. So sorry about that. This is technology. Haha.
Okay.
But you know, there's nothing to stop you from looking at the slide again once you get a copy of it. You know, but please try the framework. I mean, realign your lectures, make it more interesting, and I think you can do it. I mean, it doesn't have to be boring anymore. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for Rozhan for the informative presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to open the Q&A session. So if you have any question, you can ask for Rozhan. Now, for Rozhan, you can also answer the question written in meeting, written in chatting box. Chatting.
Mana chatting box? Okay. Okay. Ada question? No question yet?
Do you have any question?
Yes, Assalamualaikum. I'm Abdurrahman. I have one question. Okay, just now, Prof say for nowadays we like rebrand the education for e-learning. We rebrand. Actually, my question: we are as a teacher. Just we do our job to solve student problem, to give student what they should understand. Okay, in usually class we use the classroom, and long time we use blackboard and green board, now whiteboard and smart board. So actually just change the tools, as you say, and actually I'm fully agree with Prof. The technology is just tools. Okay, and the creative teacher or the creative lecturer, he's the main point in education process. But
yes.
My question, why Prof say a rebrand of education? Maybe I have a misunderstanding about the rebrand.
No. I'm not rebranding. I'm just saying. Because we are used to face-to-face teaching. Okay, but now we are faced with a situation that almost becomes an open distance learning style. It's not rebranding now, because whatever we are facing now, the fact that the teacher are separated from the learner. Okay, so teaching and learning must now take place mediated by technology and supported by, so this is very much an open and distance learning concept. I'm not rebranding. It's just like I say now, welcome to ODL, because the scenario now is like an open and distance learning concept. But after all this, everybody will go back to the university. There's no more ODL, so everybody go back to lecture in the face-to-face lecture.
Okay.
But in a small way, we are also doing some kind of distant open learning, because when students interact in the LMS, sometimes we post some questions in the LMS, okay, in our goal system, okay, any system. So when you post the question and when student answer the question, it's already not at the same time. So it's already kind of a asynchronous concept. So I'm not, you understand, Rahman?
Yes, I understand. And one more, I want to say for Prof, thank you very much. You give me one idea. It's micro lecture. This is a good thing. I will do something about this.
Okay, inshallah, alhamdulillah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you, Rahman.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Prof, I have a question. I'm
Sure.
Suhaili.
Yes, I recognize your voice.
I have the impression that immediate response from students and feedback from teacher could be missing in a synchronous session. So how do teachers then ensure meaningful engagement and interaction? Macam kita tak tahu student tu masa kita bagi yang that micro lecture yang 10 minutes tu sama dia faham ke tak. Kalau dalam face to face kita boleh tengok kan dia punya, we can see their reaction, we can see the whether they understand or not, but this is something that I'm a bit uncomfortable with, to be honest. Thank you.
Okay. Now you can use Padlet actually, and you can ask student to, they have a handphone. You can ask the student to do a 2-minute or 3-minute summary on the handphone and post to Padlet, and you can see. Okay. So we utilize technology to its fullest. I mean, you don't ask them to write a long essay and put in the Padlet. I mean, it can be a group work, it can be individual work. You can ask them to summarize something in the band, and when you upload to Padlet, you can actually see each and every person's response on the Padlet, and they can see each other's response on the Padlet. Okay. And I also like to use timeline software. You can also use timeline software where student actually, you can follow the progress of the student. They can upload videos, they can upload answered questions in the timeline software. You can also group them, individualize them. There are so many ways of doing it actually. In fact, sometimes even in face-to-face, you have no idea how they're, that's why you discover what they know or don't know in the exam, which is probably too late by then. But with technology, it's easier to follow progress, and they don't have to see you all the time. You can just follow the progress to what they post, what you ask them to do. To me, and they don't have to be in the university. They can also their work no matter where they are, as long as you, and you can also monitor no matter where you are, as long as you can get online. You know, sometimes I think it can be done. You can try it. I think, yeah.
Okay.
After being
Thank
ODL
you.
for so long, I know it can be done. I've done it. I used to use Block before, but now Block outdated already.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. I'll try
No.
Padlet. Yeah, thanks.
Try Padlet. Padlet macam virtual notice board. You can post, you can see all the things. Okay. Lagi.
Any questions?
I think yang
maybe Joseph just share Prof Rozhan's slides.
No, maybe the slide at the end was maybe the last slide because I think that's the one missing. Just the last slide that I read, that's the only one missing because I was towards the end already. Okay.
Okay, I think we end this sharing session. So we like to say thank you to Prof Rozhan and to the audience for good listening and active engagement. So hopefully this sharing session will be benefit us. Thank you for your attention and participation. So we end this sharing session with Kafaratul Majlis and Surat Al-As. Subhanallah.
Thank you, Prof.
Bye, Prof.
Thank you, Prof. Selamat berbuka.
Bye.
Thank you, Prof. See you again.
Inshallah. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Oh, lama 2.5 jam.
Dah tukar Mimi.
Minut.
Comel topeng doktor.